tonight, as you probably guessed, it is the first of the bonus experiences, The Secret Life of Cal. So Jane Ivana is playing her familiar.
Ooh, I'm so nervous.
It's going to be so interesting to see how this all works.
Yeah.
So if
I'm interested to find out too.
All of you guys that are familiar with the story know very well who Cal is. We know Cal. Everybody has either a love or hate relationship with poor Cal.
Right.
Which is totally unfair because he's such a good little guy. But
they don't know that yet. They'll find out, and then they'll feel terrible about themselves.
Well, you know, the thing is with all of this, it's like up until now, you know, Cal has been a little bit down on the totem pole. But tonight, Cal's gonna shine.
Let's do it.
Kia is going to be. This is Kia tonight. Right here, the Cal. All right, so let's start it off. Bearing in mind, of course, Kia is here, but she's going to be played by me mostly tonight.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah, so so we are going back about... How many years are we going back? About 30 years? Is that roughly right?
Let's see. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, so we're going back about 30 years into Kia Liana's past. She has recently only just acquired her pet familiar, Cal. No, Cal's a gray tabby. She's recently acquired her familiar, Cal. Her mentor is working with her. That's this lady right here, who is Elmira. And both of them currently work for a mercenary, a barbarian mercenary called Fabian. He runs a mercenary caravan who, what they tend to do is take jobs to defeat rows of bandits, in particular orcs, and they get paid to fend off orc attacks from caravans or farmsteads or nobles and stuff like that. The mercenaries tend to do the grunt work, and Kia Liana and Elmira tend to do the distractionary work. So, where we start... Okay, it's early evening at Fabian's caravan. So, one of the things I will point out is you're going to hear a lot of conversation that is going to come from a cat's perspective. So, guys... When you hear us talking about two-legses, or four-legses, or pink four-legses that smell, you're going to have to do a little bit of understanding. You're going to have to figure out some of this stuff for yourself. Because a cat has got a very different perspective. So, Cal is... How old is Cal? He's very young, but he's also a magical familiar, so age doesn't really matter to Cal anymore. But there's a lot of things you guys don't know about Cal yet, trust me. Okay, so it's early evening at Fabian's caravan encampment. You have just finished a small trout that your two legs, Kia Liana, gave you for your supper. As usual, Kia and her friend Elmira are keeping themselves separate from the other two legses. The other two-leg males and that one two-legged female, who you do not like, are being entirely too loud, drinking that funny water that makes them fall over, and eating like those fat pink four-legs creatures that you see living on the farms. Your instincts tell you not to trust the two legs, but your two legs seems to tolerate them. Your two legs and Elmira are warming themselves around their fire pit, when your keen ears hear what sounds like a couple of other two-legses walking up the road towards your camp. There are two strange two-legs approaching the camp. The two-legs leader, known as Fabian, is walking over to meet them. The other two legs in his clan all look up with intent on their faces. So basically, you've got a couple of individuals that are strolling up to the camp here.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, that's doing something funny. Okay, here's Fabian. So Fabian is walking up to the other two legses and intercepts them. You've heard all this, by the way, but your mistress and Elmira are still, at the moment, keeping themselves to themselves.
I'm gonna sneak under. What is this right here? A carriage?
Yeah.
Sneak under and kind of where these horses are. Trying to get a little bit closer to see what's going on.
Okay, well, it's very
Curious.
easy for
Curious.
you to do so. There's absolutely nobody that's going to spot your cat-like self sneaking up under the caravans.
Interesting.
Okay, this two legs right here. Thanks heavens we found you. A local traveler told us you were here. So we came here at great haste. I understand you're mercenaries for hire. And you are in particular ones that have experiences with orc raiders. The large barbarian Fabian nods. I own a farmstead not so far east from here, and some savage orcish creatures have been harassing us for the past few days. At first they stole crops, then pigs, then cattle. Last night they killed 2 of my farmhands when they tried to stop them stealing the horses. I'll be ruined at this rate. I should like to hire you to stop these ruffians. Fabian and the farmer talk backwards and forwards, and finally seem to agree on some kind of price. At that point, the 2 farmers turn and head back down the road towards their farm. Okay, Cal, what you doing?
I'm very excited. We get to help somebody again. Cal's all about helping people, yeah. I just want to explore this little area here, see what's going on. Are those 2 legs there?
Yes.
What are they doing?
So basically, that's mostly the all around that fire is the large group of mercenaries, the other 2 legs that all are part of the Fabian clan that your mistress and Elmira work for.
Yes. Are they talking? Just standing around?
Right now, they're all just kind of watching they're watching the 2 mercenaries kind of leave.
Okay.
It's almost like you can tell they're waiting for them to get out of earshot before they start discussing anything.
I'm gonna go over here and keep an eye on those 2.
Alrighty.
They seem suspicious always, and I still don't like them.
Well, Fabian calls out loudly to your 2 legs. Kia, Elmira, come here, we have a job.
I perk up, and I kind of scurry over there towards Kia to be with my 2 leg.
Okay. As always, Elmira seems to take the lead, seeing as she seems to be the one that's more experienced. Kia is still very timid, even though she's been working... Oh, Sith the Insane, thanks for the follow. Even though that she has, Kia's been working for them for a little while, but Kia still has a lot to learn.
Okay, I'm gonna jump into my 2 legs bag there.
Alrighty. You climb up into Kia Liana's bag. So Fabian says, the same plan, lads. We go to the farm, and we're going to take care of some orcs for these young folk.
Did Kia just say that?
Injustice. Sorry?
Was that Kia's voice? No,
that's Fabian.
Okay. Alright, that confused me. Better not be Kia.
Right.
Kill you.
He says, yes, ladies, we have some farmers to help. Vile orcs are raiding their lands, and we can't stand for this injustice. So, let's go to the farm and see if we can't help them. We'll help these simple souls. So, go and gather your belongings, girls. At this point, Elmira heads over to the large wagon and starts getting a few items from the cart, or from the back of the wagon.
I gotta go gather my things.
Your cat-like things.
Yes, I'm gonna go over here to the barrels.
Okay.
Jump on top. I'm pretty sure I left just half a dead mouse somewhere around there. Okay. Is it still there?
Yes. No one has stolen your half-dead mouse.
Good. I swear I would have peed on him.
Okay. Fabian, now that your 2 legs and the other one is out of earshot, you hear him say, the same plan, lads. We go to the farm, look around, have the battle, collect payments, celebrate, sip them the wine, and move out. And they all start laughing. It's like really weird. They're all giggling inanely, like rubbing their hands together. Very strange behavior.
What? Why are they murmuring like they're up to something? This is just one of our normal plans, right? Where are they?
Normal. It's the same old as they normally do.
The same old, same old. So this is supposed to be a good thing.
Oh yeah, they're going to help some farmers and protect them and their forelegses.
Well, why were they whispering in such hushed voices then? I don't get it.
Well, you know, two legs, they're strange.
Now, where's Fabian? Where's that two leg?
He's right here.
I'm gonna kind of get close to him and sniff him, see if he's drunk any of that funny stuff or maybe something.
He definitely has that horrible, strange scent about him. Nearly all of them do. Even this woman over here, the female two legs that you really hate. This is the one that always hisses at you and shoos you away.
Ugh.
She keeps referring to you as that mangy cat. I think she's related to Radovan Rainier. It might be his aunt.
Okay. Well, I've gathered my half-dead mouse. I'm gonna go put it back in my two legs bag there and prepare myself for me being the one that's gonna be distracting the orcs. Of course, I'm kind of the main person in this whole operation.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, you know, Kia only acts like she's, you know, actually doing anything. So, it's all Cal, really.
It is all me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, after everyone's gathered their belongings, they head down the main road. As you approach the farm with your two legs and the Fabian clan, you can see it covers a lot of tree lengths worth of land. Some fields full of yellow and green foodstuffs, and there are some empty pens where forelegses may once have lived. There's a den made of trees up ahead, and the leader two legs and the others approach the den and knock on the door. One of the two legs that you saw earlier opens it, and Fabian and a couple of his clan walk inside and close the door behind them, leaving your two legs, Elmira, and the rest of the two legs is outside.
Alright. Can I sneak in there? Is there a window?
There is, yep.
I'm gonna jump up onto the windowsill, and if it's cracked, I'll try to get in. If not, I'll just listen with my awesome hearing skills.
Alrighty. Okay, so basically you creep up and climb inside. The two legses are discussing things once again. They're talking backwards and forwards, and they make conversation about some of that gold shiny stuff that they seem to get so excited whenever it's about.
I don't understand why people get excited over. Well, shiny things I understand, but I don't know. They like go crazy for it. I don't get it.
Right, yeah. Fabian and the other two legses seem to be overly excited anytime someone gets any of the shiny metal stuff out. So, your two legs and Elmira, not so much. They seem to be happier when they're just helping people.
Yeah. I love my two leg. What are they doing?
They're just having a chit-chat, and basically the Fabian, the leader of the Fabian clan, he says, well, don't you worry. He goes, they'll have to deal with me and my men tonight. He says, as we were approaching, I noticed that there was a copse of trees north of here, a tree line. Is that where the orcs come from, you said? Oh, yes, they always come from the north. Well, good. We'll set up an ambush there. I have a couple of witches with me. Now, they're not the kind of witches that you might think of as in, you know, cackling around a cauldron type witches. They're, you know, they're pleasant. One of them will protect you, and the other one will be outside helping us make some distractions. We're going to try to lure these horrid vile greenskins in and then ambush and kill them. Of course, you are good for the payment that you promised, right? Oh, yes, not at all. After a while, this is the conversation going backwards and forwards. It seems to be that the Fabian mercenary is just trying to reassure them that he's capable of defending the farm.
So to the north, that's where the orcs will be.
Apparently so.
I need to be there then.
Right. But at this point, it's kind of early evening, and it sounds like they're planning to do this a lot later. The orcs seem to come very late at night. Like the early hours.
That's when I'm most active.
Right. when you're the most kiddie-ish.
Alright, so... hop out. Where's my two-leg?
Okay, so...
Where's my two-leg?
So Kia and Elmira are still standing outside. The strange thing is, there's like next to no animals here at all anymore. There's like one horse.
I'm gonna slowly walk up to the horse, check out the horse, see what's going on with the horse these days.
This foreleg seems particularly old and worn down. It has what looks like some kind of harness on its chest. It's probably stuck, most of its time it's probably stuck pulling things around a field. It doesn't look like it's something that's an actual riding horse.
Poor foreleg. Such a sedentary way of living. Sounds terrible.
Fabian and the other two legs come outside.
Okay.
They go up to your two legs and Elmira, and they say, okay, it's going to be a few hours before we have anything to do here. Let's go back to our camp, get a good feed, and then we'll head back over here a little bit later on. He says, you, and he points to two of the other two legs and said, you stay here and keep guard. If anything should happen, one of you come fetch us at once. And they nod politely. So it's not too long. It's only about 10 to 15 minutes a walk to get back to the caravan.
Cool.
Okay, so once you get back to the caravan here, what do you want to do?
Who's here?
That is your two legs, which is Kialiana and Elmira.
Alright. I'd kind of want to check around to see what's in these caravan. What's in the caravan? What kind of supplies are around? Just just general snooping. I'm a very curious
through
kitty.
everything. Yeah, this is all of the caravan travels around a lot. This is where all the food and the drink and that funny liquid that they tend to drink, all their supplies is all all spread across each one of these wagons or carts. Nothing particularly interesting for you, other than your two legs seems to provide you everything you need.
Yeah, she does. I wonder what that funny liquid even tastes like. I never even tried it before. Where is it? I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Okay, it tends to be in the barrels over here on this car. You remember that because it's
where my mouse was.
Where you hid your mouse. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go over there. Is there any way to get inside of it? I'm gonna paw at it to see if I can open it.
No, it doesn't look like it's easy for you to open, but there are drips of it that have kind of dripped onto the floor of the wagon itself.
I'm gonna curiously stick my tongue out and take a little lick of it. Immediately wince back ugh!
Okay, it's disgusting. Why the two legses would drink this stuff is beyond you. It is absolutely hideous.
Two legs are so simple. It's so strange. They eat the weirdest, most disgusting things.
Yeah, I mean, you're content with a nice fresh piece of trout or something like that. They all seem to burn everything that they
fresh kill. It's natural. The stuff looks like it's made out of fox dung or something.
Right, well, they're all stuffing their faces violently. That's another thing that totally disgusts you about these two legs. The mercenary two legs in the clan, particularly, the way they eat is absolutely barbaric. As you said, only the pink only those pink 2-legses that you, or 4-legses that you tend to see around farms eat as badly as this does. They have no self-respect.
I'm thinking perhaps that nice 2-leg perhaps turned pigs into these other 2 legs. Perhaps they were pigs before.
The way they're
I don't
behaving
understand
entirely
why-
could be.
Yeah. Why not? She does magic. Isn't that what magic is?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're very... remember, as Cal, you're very familiar with magic. You know, magic is something you know a lot about. You can't do it, but you understand it.
Yeah. I wish I could turn them back into pigs, really.
That's what they should be, pigs.
I'm curious where Fabian is. That strange 2-leg. I'm not.
Oh, he's
so
right.
Sure.
He's back here. He's swigging ale. They seem, just like always, they seem remarkably confident and sure of themselves. But as you've seen time and time again, they seem to take on armies of these greenskins, and they never get hurt.
Right.
They're obviously great warriors.
Well, they never get hurt because I'm around to save them, really. Well, I guess they'll just wait around. They're just eating.
Alrighty. Okay, well, after a couple of hours, they head back to the farmstead. Once they get there,
Hurry.
Fabian says, "Okay, here is the plan. Me and the mercenaries will head northwards to where the orcs have been attacking from, and we shall get ready for an ambush. We'll ambush them at the tree line. Kia, you use that noise spell thing that you do to make it sound like they've got some fresh cattle here, something that the orcs might be willing to come back and steal here at the farm. Elmira, you go inside the farmhouse and keep them busy. Keep them entertained. They don't need to see the bloodshed that we're gonna have to deal out here tonight. We'll go and get ourselves in position. Kia, give us about, 20 or 30 minutes, and then make the cow noises coming from, that pen. That should be a good spot." Fabian and his mercenaries then head northwards towards the trees, leaving you, your 2-legs, and Elmira alone at the farm. Elmira and your 2-legs make words, and then Elmira heads inside the building, leaving your 2-legs outside.
A fight! I'm so excited. I look up at Kia, wondering, seeing if I could just skedaddle here if she needs me. My
Your
2-leg,
2-legs is looking very nervous. This is typically, she doesn't like all of the bloodshed stuff, so she's glad that she's out of the main fighting.
Yeah.
But she also knows that this tends to get very ugly as well.
I see how nervous she is, and I kind of nudge her leg, trying to comfort her a little bit.
Okay, she bends down and kind of just fusses behind your ear, and then says, "Well, you might want to get yourself out of harm's way, Cal, so, climb up on the roof or something."
I do a little jump of excitement, and instead of climbing on the roof, I'm heading towards the ambush. I want to see some action here.
Okay, so you're actually going to sneak across the field towards where the actual fighting might happen.
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty, well, you make your way across the field. Of course, that's an awful long way for your little teeny tiny legs. So you're having to hustle a little bit. As you head in that direction...
I gotta get a workout. Why not?
As you head in that direction, you can just about make out the Fabian clan at the tree line. They're small and distant, but one of them is carrying a fire stick, which you can easily use to spot them with. That is until the fire stick is snuffed out and it all goes dark.
What can I see? Nothing?
No, you're just going across an open field right now.
Oh, so now I have no idea where I'm going.
Well, you know where the tree line is. I mean, bearing in mind, you still see extremely well at night.
Right.
But they're under the shadows of the trees up ahead, so you can't really see them exactly.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep on just heading in the direction I was headed towards, hoping that I don't actually accidentally veer off and get lost.
All right.
Kind of,
yeah, I mean, you know where the tree line is.
yeah, keeping my head down.
All right,
stalking.
Cal, make a spot check for me.
Okay. My first roll.
Can Cal roll natural 20s? Let's see.
Alright, here we go. Ooh.
Alrighty. 17 plus 1. Actually, Cal's spot check is... I think Cal's spot is... Oh, it is a 1. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of his other... Yeah. Okay. Right. As you start going forward, about probably 10 to 15 bunny hops away, which is a cat-like measurement. Bunny hops, for you guys watching, is about 3 feet. Okay, you can see what appears to be some kind of nasty, stinky-looking possum coming in your direction. It seems to have smelt you.
Shoot. I hate those forelegs. I'm going to immediately get down as low as I can, and I stand still for a second. Is it headed towards me, or did it...
It's heading in your direction. It seems to have... It's like sniffing the air. It might have possibly smelt you.
Ah, shoot. I'm going to sidestep and veer to my left and see if I can just get around it and just avoid it.
Alrighty, make a move silently roll.
Okay.
Cal's move silently is pretty impressive, I think.
It's
Of course,
just
you'll
a
probably-
2.
Is it a 2?
Uh-huh.
Let's see.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Okay. As Cal attempts to sneak away, of course this is in cat terms, the possum spots you, and it starts to come in your direction rather quickly. It's very kind of... It doesn't look healthy or well. It looks like there's something wrong with it. It's got horrible milky-looking eyes, like they're all inflamed and pink and nasty.
I wonder what happened to this foreleg. I'd like to get on my hind legs and look big. Hope to try to scare it away, and then
Okay.
hiss.
Make an intimidate roll, Cal.
Okay. Hold on a second. Gotta find it. There it is. Oh no! It's negative.
Oh, yeah, this has been a little laggy tonight. Roll 20.
Oh no!
I still haven't seen it yet.
Natural
Oh, no.
1!
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You basically puff yourself up, arch your back, and hiss as loud as you can. All you've managed to do is paint a very clear picture to the possum that was having a hard time to see you with its watering eyes. Now it sees you very, very clearly. It comes charging towards you. It looks like it's about to attack you.
I'm gonna take a big jump backwards and prepare my unsheath my claws and getting ready to swipe at it if it gets any closer.
Okay, the possum lunges at you, but it misses.
Alright, I'm gonna swipe at its face with my claws, my right claw.
Okay, well, remember, as Cal, you get to make 2 claw attacks and a bite attack every round.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
You get 3 attacks.
Alright, well,
Cal's...
I'm gonna do all freaking 3 of those things because nobody's gonna touch me.
Right, and your base attack currently is -2. Remember that,
Oh my gosh.
because you're not the current Cal. You're the Cal from 30 years ago.
Yeah. So, roll a 1d20 minus 2, yeah.
120 -2. Yes.
Mhm.
13. Okay. Cal's first claw comes straight across the possum's face, so he hits.
Sweet.
He does 1d2 -4 damage, which means he does 1 point of damage unless he crits, which he didn't. So you hit the possum for a point of damage. Make your second attack roll.
Okay. Yeah.
And so Cal immediately lashes back with the second. Do you want to bite the possum looking like it does, or do you not want to do that?
No, it looks so sickly. I just want to scratch at him.
Okay. The
Not
second
into
claw
that.
mark
Nasty.
open the side of the possum's face rather aggressively. There's blood dripping down. The possum clearly wants nothing to do with this fight at all, as it turns away and limps off into the darkness, making a strange, horrible noise. Once it gets about 2 feet from you, it collapses on the floor and lays still. Looks like it's dead. You probably killed it.
Ooh. I'm gonna walk over to it and kind of paw at it.
Okay,
push at it.
It's not moving.
And I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, buddy, but you sucked. And then I'm gonna head towards the tree line again.
Okay.
See ya.
Alrighty, as you head towards the tree line, you can you're starting to make out now where these people are. They're all crouching down, but they're like whispering and giggling to each other. It doesn't seem like they're really taking this whole fight thing very seriously.
What can I see?
You can see the clan leader Fabian and all of his other two-legs mercenaries just sitting there. They're drinking some of that nasty liquid. They're sitting around. They're eating fruit.
Wait, what?
They don't look like they're ready for a combat at all. I mean, it's not really what you expected. You thought that you would find them here, crouched down, ready to pounce on their enemies, but they're not doing any of that.
Do I see the greenskins anywhere?
No. There are no greenskins to be seen.
I'm gonna kind of walk around if there's any trees around so they can't see me to try to spot any danger. Like, come on guys, we gotta get ready. Like, what's happening here?
They're not doing anything at all, to be honest. They're just really sitting there. Honestly, they're acting the same as they were when you were back at the camp with them. Considering they're supposed to be getting ready to do a battle with an army of greenskins, they just don't seem to be alert at all. They're just not taking this serious.
What's wrong with these guys? I don't know. I'm ready for a fight. Maybe the orcs are late. Maybe they're just waiting. But that still doesn't make sense because they're not in their stealth stance.
You hear a sound coming back from the farm, a sound that sounds like many of those noisy milk-producing forelegs. And you realize that this is your two legs working her magics. She's doing the distraction that she agreed to do. So she's basically making the cow noises coming from the farm. As soon as that happens, all the other two legs start nudging each other, and you hear the Fabian two leg says, "Okay, they'll be along any minute. Get ready." And suddenly they all stop and start. Now it looks like they're actually getting ready for combat. Maybe they just were, they knew that the orcs weren't.
Okay, that's more like it. Yeah, because my two leg is doing everything she can, so they better be doing something about this.
Alrighty.
And I kind of puff up my chest and perk my ears up, ready for a battle.
Okie dokie. You're basically sitting there and poised and waiting. Okay, at this point you notice a large group of greenskins coming from the other side of the trees.
There they are.
Big, nasty, ugly greenskins.
My fur is kind of sticking up on its edge.
You notice 2 or 3 of them, however, have broken away from the main group and seem to be skirting around. They're heading for the farm where your mistress is, sitting all unsuspected by herself.
Oh my gosh. So they're headed towards the farmhouse?
3 of them are, yes. All the others are heading straight. The others look like they're about to walk straight into the ambush, but there's 3 of the greenskins have actually broken away from the main group and are heading around the side of the tree line as if they're going to go completely around it and head to the farm from the side.
I'm going to follow them, the 3.
Okay. Well, you break away from the main group. You notice that they are indeed heading towards the farm. You can't understand a word that they say. Obviously, they make all these horrible grunting sounds and really doesn't make any sense. But you can sense aggression. They seem like they're mean and horrible.
Yeah.
It won't be long before they're going to get to the farm itself. At this point, they seem to have gotten all quiet and started to sneak. They're doing quite a good job of it, too.
Can I rush ahead of them toward, like, where they can't see me, kind of veer to the right or something and rush ahead so I can warn my two-leg?
Yes.
that
Okay,
they're
so you're
coming?
basically going to try to cut them off and go ahead of them so you can get to where Kia is and tell her to look out, that there's some horrible people comings. Alrighty. Well, we're going to take a very quick break there. And then we're going to move on to our, basically what looks like a fight's coming up. Okay, so you've rushed ahead to warn your mistress that there are some of the greenskins coming. Okay, so you charge over there. You see her crouched down behind the pen.
Okay. I'm obviously feeling very distressed, and I immediately kind of pounce on her, not to hurt her exactly, but claw, like, and hiss, like a hurried motion, like, and I just keep nudging her and meowing over and over again.
Okay, she immediately picks up on your emotional state, and she kind of picks you up and says, "Whatever's the matter, Cal? Calm down."
And I jump out of her hands and go a little bit towards the orcs and look back, and go a little bit and look back, hoping that my two-leg will pick up on my expression
which
to
she
follow
does.
me.
She kind of
Good.
rushes over to behind the trees. This is kind of like a Scooby-Doo moment.
Right?
Sorry, a Lassie moment.
Zoinks!
What is it, Lassie? There's orcs coming to the farm? Okay, so she kind of goes and crouches down behind the trees and starts looking. You know that she's got as good as eyes, almost as good as yours are. So you're quite confident that she'd be able to see them as well. But she's kind of squinting. When you look back, you can't see them either. It looks like they're hiding.
Oh no. Okay, so I kind of grip onto her, and I don't move, as to say, just stay still. And I just keep looking around.
Right, okay. Well, all of a sudden you hear what sounds like the sound of battle coming from the distant tree line. It must be the Two Legs clan of Fabian and the Greenskins fighting. Go ahead and make a spot check for me, if you will, Cal.
Okay.
Is that a 13?
Yes.
Okay. You notice the light of one of the fire sticks is moving away from the tree line. It looks like it's heading backwards towards the clan's camp. Like one of the clansmen is breaking away.
Would that be normal?
Well, you've never really paid any attention to the fighting itself. Maybe he just got scared and ran away. Who knows?
Yeah. And the three orcs are nowhere in sight?
Not from where you're sitting here. No, you're squinting out into the dark, but you can't see them. But of course, I mean, there's a lot of crops and stuff in the fields.
Okay.
So if they were laying down and hiding, it would be hard to see them from here.
I'm gonna jump up on the roof of the farmhouse and take another look around.
Okay, so you climb up on the roof?
Yes.
Well, it's really no effort for you to climb up on the roof itself, but you kind of hate the fact that you're having to keep up this particular appearance, because you know that in your other form you could actually get up on the roof so much easier. But you kind of scamper up the side, you jump on these barrels here and get up on the top.
Okay.
Perched
What do
on
I
the
see?
corner and watching. Okay, you can actually see the three orcs laying kind of crouched down in the field. They've stopped a good distance away. It looks like they're really just kind of watching to see what's going on instead.
Did I follow the wrong orcs?
They were the same orcs that were sneaking up.
I know, but maybe I should have actually helped to fight. But why are these orcs here? They shouldn't be here. I mean, these greenskins. Cal.
Right.
Does it look like they're just going to be sitting there for a while?
Well, it looks like they're watching. They're like poised and just trying to keep an eye out. See what's going on.
All right, I'm gonna just stand my ground and stare at them
Okay.
till something happens.
Well, the sound of battle goes on for a while, and then slowly it stops. Once it starts dying down, you notice that the 3 orcs turn around and crawl back, like on their hands and knees, until they get far enough away from the farm to where they're convinced that no one's watching. Then they get up and run towards the tree line.
What? Were they just having a mouse to eat? Well, I'm gonna go follow them, I guess. I'm gonna leave Kia, not tell her where I'm going. I'm just gonna go.
Okay. So you kind of head back in that direction. The fire stick carrier that you saw earlier is now coming back towards the main group. Once he gets back there, you notice that the Fabian clan leader and all of mercenaries are all kind of coming towards you. They're coming away from the tree line. So they obviously, once again, were clearly very victorious against the orc invaders.
Yeah. Do they look like they've been fighting?
They're a little muddy. They're a little dirty. A couple of them have got like little cuts on their arms and stuff like that, but they really don't look badly hurt. You notice that the fire stick carrier is carrying a crate. And it's got it kind of clanging a little bit. It sounds like it's got bottles inside. It's the kind of bottles that
I sniff at it.
Are you going close to it?
No, not particularly. I'm gonna keep a good few foxtails distance from them.
Okay.
But I am very curious what's in there. Very curious.
Okie dokie. Well, 2 or 3 of the 2 legs kind of stop. Actually, they all stop, and then 2 or 3 of them sort of break away from the group, and they start heading back towards Fabian's camp. As they do so, all of them are laughing and smiling and seem to be in very good spirits, considering they just had a battle with a large group of orcs.
These guys are reacting strangely to killing things. I'm gonna follow wherever the crate goes.
Okay. Well, the crate is going with them as they head back towards they're heading towards the farmhouse.
Okay, I'm going that way.
Okay. As they start heading towards the farmhouse, you notice that your 2 legs, Kia, is kind of standing, waiting, looking for them as they approach. Seems to be kind of, you can sense that she's very concerned and worried about what could possibly be happening.
Yeah.
As Fabian gets close, your 2 legs rushes over towards him. He kind of raises an arm and says, "It's okay, Kia, we're okay. It was a hard-fought battle as usual. A few of us were minorly injured and they've headed back to the camp, but the ambush worked. We caught them completely by surprise. The farm is safe. Let's go and tell them the good news, and get paid, of course, and we can celebrate some of our good fortune. And look, we found a crate of wine. We'll give the wine to the farmers. The orcs had it. They must have stolen it." Which seems awfully strange.
I didn't see any of the greenskins carrying that crate.
No.
I don't think.
Well, you didn't really see the green screens, but you did see this crate being carried by the guy carrying the fire stick. And he was coming from the direction from the camp.
I want to give a little bit of a nervous feeling for Kia, for my 2 leg to sense, like, very unsure of what's happening right now.
Okay. She picks you up and pets you and says, There, I know this is all very scary, but it's okay, Cal. The bad guys we beat the bad guys. Everybody's safe now." She just assumes, obviously, that you're scared and upset because of all the fighting going on.
You're the one that's nervous, my 2 leg. Poor 2 leg. I kind of nudge her to comfort her.
Okay.
Because I'm not scared, obviously.
Well, no, you're a brave kitty cat. So. Okay, they head back over to the house, and they all go inside. You hear Fabian. Well, actually, everybody goes inside. Are you going in with them, or?
Yeah.
Okay. You hear Fabian telling the farmer Two Legs that their clan has killed the orcs and they're all safe. Fabian shows the farmer some weapons that he says he took from the orcs, and a saddle that they had stolen from the farmer. The farmer seems exceptionally happy to get his saddle back. The farmer gives Fabian some of that shiny metal stuff that they seem to get so stupidly excited over. And then they all start drinking the funny water. In particular, Fabian pulls out some of the strange-looking water out of the crate that the other Fire Legs carrying Two Legs had.
Okay.
And he hands it to him and says, "Here, we liberated this from the orcs. It looks like a fine vintage. You can have this as some sort of, I don't know, compensation for what happened. Open up," and they kind of bust open all the wine and start handing it out, and everyone starts drinking it. At least the farmers do. You notice that the Fabian clan are not.
Okay.
At this point, he then says, "Oh, Kia, Elmira, some of us were hurt. Why don't you head back to the camp and check on those that were wounded? And make sure that they're okay. We'll be along momentarily after we've taken care of these farmers and got paid." At which point, Kia and Elmira seem to be quite content to turn around and head back towards the camp. But this is all very, very suspicious to you.
Yeah, I'm going to jump behind something in the farmhouse. I'm not going to leave, but I don't want them to know that I'm still there.
Okay, so you're going to basically just hide and watch.
Yes.
Okie dokie. After a while, you kind of see them continue to sit around, chit-chat, and you've noticed that the farmers and the farmer's wife and his kids or whatever have gotten very sleepy, and they almost just seem to like collapse and fall over, like, and just hit the floor. They obviously must be very tired.
I stand up straight, looking from the people on the floor to Fabian. Like, did you see that?
Fabian kind of looks and smiles as he turns and says to the rest of the mercenaries, "Okay, guys, you head back to the camp. Get everything ready to move. I'll be along shortly." Okay, the other Two Legses all leave and head back towards Kia's camp, or to the camp where Kia is.
I'm staying. Very concerned. Very, very concerned.
Alrighty.
Ready to attack anything or anyone.
After about 15 or 20 minutes, Fabian, the clan leader, goes to the back, opens the back door of the cabin, takes his fire stick and waves it to the north, to where the tree line is.
I'm thinking, why are you doing that? You're gonna get somebody's attention. Mainly those greenskins. I don't think you killed them all.
Killed all the greenskins?
I don't think so. I saw 3 of them.
Okay, in the distance, towards the north where the tree line is, you notice another fire stick waving. Like in answering, almost like it's replying to some kind of signal.
Tilt my head like, what is... Still watching, just waiting. Looking back at the farmers. Are they still unconscious, or are they still sleeping?
The farmers are all still laying on the floor, fast asleep.
Are they looking at the farmers? Can I jump down and go like lick their faces to try to wake them up while they're...
Well, if you do that, Fabian will probably see you. Because he's in there with them.
No, I'm not going to then.
Okay. From the north, you can see a large group of greenskins making their way across the fields towards the farmhouse. What is Fabian doing? He's there all by himself.
Surely he's not going to fight all these guys. I guess I could help him.
Now, they're pretty big, these greenskins.
I got some moves. I got a couple moves I could do.
You got a couple of claws.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe Fabian just thinks he's going to be able to take on all of these guys by himself, but I'll be here to help him.
Okay. Well, you notice that as they start getting close, Fabian walks out towards them. He hasn't readied his axe, and none of the orcs seem to be acting hostile towards him. You notice that one of the orcs, who's wearing a large green cloak, looks very different than the others. He almost looks, instead of being all green-skinned two legs, he almost looks kind of like half a regular two legs, like he's half and half, like half green skin and half human. He's a strange looking fellow, to be sure. Fabian stops. They're about 200 or 300 yards from the farmhouse. And what is this? He's shaking his hand?
No, surely I'm not seeing that. Nope, that can't be happening.
Then they're laughing. And Fabian actually puts his arm around the half-orc. And they start giggling and laughing and slapping each other on the back.
My claws kind of dig into the wood,
Something
whatever
is
I'm
definitely
standing
very
on.
much amiss going on here.
I start like going into myself, like very uneasy.
Alrighty, after they spend a little bit more time talking, they turn and now they're going towards the farmstead. All the orcs included.
Are they headed towards me?
Nope, they're not paying any attention to you. You're kind of hidden in, you're crouched right down. You're very small and hard to see.
Okay. What happens?
Well, they get to the farm and they go inside.
Okay. I'm not moving. I'm just not moving right now.
Alrighty. Well, you're crouched down. Everything's very quiet. They shut the door. Now all you know is that the farmer and the farmer's wife and his son and daughter were fast asleep in there, and Fabian just went in there with all the horrid orcs.
Well, something is amiss. Not really sure what to do. I'm mostly in shock right now. I'm not going to go get Kia because then I might miss whatever's about to happen here. Maybe Kia will sense my anxiety and come find me.
Oh, it's too far. You're too far away.
Okay. What are they doing?
Are you going to go take a look?
I thought I'm already looking.
Oh, I thought you were going to stop and like not move when you heard them go in. That's how. So you're.
I thought I was inside the farm.
Oh no!
Farm.
You was kind of
Okay,
outside. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm going through the window.
Okay.
I'm hopping through the window.
All right.
Actually, not in. I'm gonna look through the window.
Okay. As you kind of come around to the side and peer through the window, you're watching as you notice the orcs are hacking up the farmers as they're laying there on the floor, and Fabian is standing there watching it happen.
They're killing
Yes.
them?
The orcs are killing them, and Fabian is not even trying to lift a finger. He's letting them die.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Okay. What else is happening?
Clearly, these guys are not all they've acted like they are, and Kia is obviously unaware of this. She doesn't realize that these guys are... This person that she's working for is he's obviously not the person he claims to be.
My T-Leg thinks that we're saving these people.
Yes.
And we're killing them.
Yes. Well, you're not killing them. The orcs are, but you're not stopping them. Fabian
I
is
feel
lying
like I'm
to people.
involved. I've been helping too. I've been helping, and I thought I was saving the day. Okay. I'm going to. Are there any anything light enough for me to knock over outside to distract Fabian?
Not outside, no.
Okay. I'm gonna get out of there as fast as I can. I don't want to look at it anymore.
Okay. So where are you going?
Back to camp.
Okie dokie. So you're going to run back. So basically you charge back to the camp as fast as your teeny tiny little legs will allow you to.
Yeah.
Once you get back there, you see Kia is there. All the other mercenaries and stuff are there. Of course, everybody's there except for Fabian. And of course, we know where Fabian is. He's back at the farmhouse doing terrible things.
Mm-hmm. I rush straight into Kia's arms, and I hiss and point my nose towards the farmhouse and claw a little bit at her robe. Like,
Okay, she kind of looks down and picks you up, grabs you up off the floor, and says, "Not now, Cal. I've got to tend to this man's wounds." And you notice that she's like dabbing some kind of cream on one of the clansman's arms.
well, there's more wounds you need to look after in the farmhouse, you flea brain. Oh,
Okay, she says, "Well, don't go anywhere, Cal. We're fixing to get the horses tethered up to the carts, and we're going to leave. So stay right here."
I follow her.
They
and
start actually, like, all of the mercenaries are beginning to get the horses, and they're all acting very quickly at this point. They're like tethering the horses up to the carts. They're trying to get everything ready as if they're trying to leave as quickly as possible.
Okay. I need to somehow get Kia over to the house. Okay, I'm gonna go up to Kia, and I'm going to actually scratch her so she bleeds.
Ow.
And then, yeah, just a little bit. And I'm gonna hiss at her really hard and run away towards the farmhouse.
Okay,
having the feeling of like running away.
You kind of scratch her, and she like suddenly like just looks at you like, "Ah!" She's like, "Cal, what's gotten into you? What are you doing?"
And by that point, I'm off. I'm running towards the farmhouse.
Okay, she's screaming behind you like, "Cal, come back! We're gonna leave! Don't get left behind! Come back, Cal!"
I'm running as fast as my little paws can take me. Like looking back, making sure she's following me still. As fast as I can.
As you're running, kind of looking behind you, you notice that Elmira is looking kind of at you as well with concern, and she goes over to Kia and whispers something to her, and the two of them then start following you down the road.
Okay. So I'm gonna run all the way over to the trees that are near the farmhouse there.
Okay. So once you get back, where are you, Cal? There you are. Okay, so at this point, Kia and Elmira have followed you all the way back to the farm. And you can hear her calling for you. Like, "Cal! Cal, where are you at?" As she's getting closer.
Okay.
But if she's not
She
careful,
needs to be
she's
quiet.
going to make too
She
much noise.
needs to be quiet. So I'm gonna run back towards her.
Okay.
I'm not that far from her, right?
Alrighty, so so you're not far. So you basically get to her.
Okay, I get to her, and I go in my sneaking stalk position and turn around towards the house and move, like, very slowly.
Okay, Kia is kind of like really confused, but Elmira turns to her and she says, "No, wait. Sometimes these familiars are a lot more intuitive to things than we are. We should go and see what Cal's looking at." As you sneak towards the farm.
Okay, sneaking with me then?
Yeah, they're kind of coming up rather quietly behind you.
Good. And I'm going to jump up onto the window
Okay.
and peer in.
Right, you leap up onto the window and peer in through the window.
Oh my gosh.
Once you look inside, basically, it's disgusting. They've like butchered these people beyond belief. They've like hacked them to oblivion. They've stolen half the stuff. You notice that half the orcs have gotten like cutlery and pots and anything of any value. It looks like they've taken from this farmhouse. They're like looting the whole thing by the time you get there. Your mistress peers in through the window, and you can just sense the utter shock and anger and like sheer emotion coming from her. Just in time, you notice that the green skin that looks like half human hands a small purse of money to Fabian and then says something to him, and Fabian says, "So this is our share then." And he's kind of puts a big cloth around this big pile of stuff that they've got piled up on the table.
I look back towards Kia and kind of nudge her.
Right, Kia does not seem to know what the hell to do at this point. She's totally and utterly, like, in shock. The other two legs, Elmira, seems to be, like, just filling with rage.
Okay.
Right, you notice that Fabian has picked up his bag and is heading out the back door.
Okay. I'm going to jump off from the windowsill and kind of stalk towards Fabian where he's going.
Okay. Well, Fabian comes out the back door, and it looks like he's going to make his way back across the fields to where the camp is. Obviously, this was part of their plan the entire time. You notice that Elmira and Kia are kind of staying crouched down. Kia almost looks like she's fixing to rush out towards him, but Elmira kind of grabs her arm and stops her, and they kind of stay hidden behind the barrels and start letting him get crossing the field. Then you notice that Elmira and Kia are starting to kind of like move up behind him like they're following him. What are you going to do?
I am following them too. I was hoping they would, because we got to figure out why this evil two-leg, why he's doing what he's doing. If it's just for these shiny things, I mean, that's not right. You can't just kill people. You can't just kill two legs like that.
Once they've gotten a little bit away from the farm, you notice that Elmira and Kia have picked up pace and start running like quicker, like they're trying to cover the ground between themselves and Fabian, and it's making it rather hard for you to keep up. I mean, you're able to, but you're sprinting along, dodging through the corn.
Too many mice today. Jeez. Well, I'm gonna keep going till I get there, I guess.
Alrighty. After a little while, you hear the Elmira two-legs scream out, "Fabian! Fabian!" He kind of stops and turns. Ladies, what are you doing here? She kind of looks at him, and you can kind of, again, you can kind of sense the anger and the aggression coming from her. "I saw what you did, Fabian! I know what you're doing! You're in league with the orcs!" He's like, no, let me explain! As he does so, suddenly, he kind of like, he's walking over. No, there's a good explanation, trust me. As he gets close, suddenly you sort of notice he grabs his big two-handed axe off of his back and he swings it wildly towards Elmira, who only barely manages to duck below it. Your two legs, Kia, takes a huge leap backwards, and she's like screaming loudly, like in shock and horror, doesn't know what the hell's going on. Suddenly, from Elmira's fingers, two huge bolts of blue lightning come flying out and splash straight into the middle of Fabian, knocking him back. He sort of yells out with a loud scream of pain and kind of pulls a small axe from his belt and throws it at Elmira. She ducks and it misses her by a mere fraction, and she blasts him with another blast of lightning once again. And the two of them are like locked in combat. Kia is like just... You can just sense total terror coming from her. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know whether she should help. She doesn't know if she can help.
Can I go sneak around and try to just like kind of distract Fabian by jumping on his back and scratching at his neck for a second and then hopping off and running away?
Okay. Right, yeah, you're kind of... It's really frustrating for you right now because you know you can do so much more, but you can't. Because of the circumstances, like it's too early. No one can know. So it's very, very frustrating for you. Okay, you're sneaking up. As you get close, you're kind of coming up behind Fabian. He kind of lunges out with one arm and he knocks Elmira to the ground. She kind of looks up and he raises the axe. He's about to bring the axe straight down on Elmira. Make your attack roll.
Okay. What am I again? Forget.
D20 -2. Okay,
Why?
you dive blindly towards him, landing on his back and clawing away, but the thick hide on his back, it's just too much for you to be able to get through. However, the shock and surprise of you suddenly landing on his shoulder is enough to distract him just for half a second. And as he does so, and he kind of looks over his shoulder like, what the? He swats back at you with one hand, hitting you, knocking you flying. You come crashing to the ground, and it really hurts.
Okay.
You like lose half your hit points. You're
Okay.
down to 2. You had 2. You're on 1.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run over to Kia. My two-leg.
Okay.
I'm gonna hop into her bag and ruffle around, grab the flint and steel with my teeth,
Okay.
and I'm going to take it out and drop it where Kia can see it, in the grass.
All right.
Trying to give her hints, do something, do anything.
Okay. You do that with the distraction that's happening. As Fabian kind of turns and he swats and knocks you flying, it gives Elmira a opportunity, like a brief opening window. And suddenly balls of blue magic, like 4 or 5 of them, come flying out of her fingers, like slam, 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 and blast him. He falls backwards and drops to one knee. He's clearly seriously hurt at this point. Okay. Kia is looking all scared, and she's looking at you as you jump in the bag, and she's like, "Cal, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you okay?" And immediately starts trying to get you out of the bag. Go ahead and do a let's see. I'm trying to think what make a where's the one I want looking for? Diddly dot. Thanks for the follow, buddy. Trying to think what probably is going to be the best thing for you to use. I'll tell you what, make an attack roll for me. Actually,
Okay.
no, make a dexterity check. Sorry, make a dexterity check.
Okay.
Which is D20 plus 2 for you. To see if, as Kia's trying to pull you out, if you're able to knock the flint and steel out of the bag onto the floor.
Crap.
Okay, right as you're about to grab the flint and steel with your paw, she pulls you clear from the bag, and you watch frustratedly as the flint and steel drops back in the bag. Okay, she kind of holds you up and is looking at you like, "Oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay?"
And I hiss at her and nudge her, get in the game.
Get
To
in the
my
game,
two-leg.
woman.
What are you doing?
You can still sense that she's totally terrified. She doesn't know what the hell to do. Okay,
Use your party tricks.
right at the two of them are, they're still looking at each other with this intense look on their faces. Fabian is down on one knee, clearly seriously hurt, clutching his chest with one hand and holding his two-handed axe with the other. Elmira is stomping towards him with her hands raised high, kind of like some kind of psychotic Sith Lord. You've never seen this side to her. She's so mad and angry right now. She's extremely scary.
Okay.
Okay, as she kind of gets really close towards him, it's like she stops about 5 feet, like she knows that she's just outside of his reach. And she screams at him, "This'll never happen again! Do you hear me? Never!" And then lets him have another blast of the blue lightning. At this point, you kind of notice smoke come out of his body as he falls to the floor and kind of is just convulsing on the ground. As some of the clothes catch fire. Lester, thanks for the follow. He's just toasted at this point. And she's standing over him, breathing heavy,
I'm gonna run over to Fabian.
As this is all happening, make a spot check for me.
Okay.
Kia at this point is now kind of moved over towards Fabian, and she's just looking on in utter terror, doesn't know what the hell's going on.
15.
Okay. You notice while they've been locked in mortal combat here in the field, the orcs have all snuck out the back door and they're making their way northwards across the field as quickly as they can, all of them, the whole clan, taking their loot with them.
Nope. All right. At this point, I mostly want Elmira's attention because my two-leg isn't quite trained or skilled enough to do this ranged attack. So I go up to Elmira and just hiss right at her face, and then run towards the orcs.
Okay. You do that, and you turn and run towards the orcs, and she kind of yells to Kia. She's like, "Stop, Cal!" She says, "My magic's spent. We can't do anything to these orcs here and now." She says, "We need to go back to the encampment, get our stuff." She says, "But don't worry, Kia. These orcs are going to pay. My God, they're going to pay."
So I'm still running towards the orcs, right?
Well, you hear Kia screaming, "Cal, come back, Cal!" The orcs are kind of stopped and they look back. A couple of them actually pause and they look like they're going to turn and come towards you, but their leader yells at them, and then they kind of stop and continue going back in the opposite direction, the direction he told them to go.
Okay.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to
listen?
obey your mistress, or are you going to ignore her?
I'm going to obey and go back.
Alrighty. Okay, so you come
Mostly for
scurrying
her,
back.
because she looks scared.
Okay. Well, when you get back to where the dead Fabian is, they're kind of... You notice that they bend over and they take the money and all the belongings, and they kind of head back quietly, almost solemnly, towards the farmhouse.
Okay. I'm going to jump into Kia's bag, or my two legs bag, and ride it out, because I'm exhausted.
Alrighty.
And kind of frustrated that I can't do more to attack or help out.
Well, once they get back to the farmhouse, they go inside to where you see all of the dead bodies of all the farmers, just butchered and laying there on the floor. It's a horrible, horrible sight. I mean, they didn't even just kill them. I mean, they hacked them to pieces. They just left them laying on the floor, stole their stuff. So little respect. I mean, yeah, there's times when you might play with your food a little bit, but at least you eat everything you kill. These orcs didn't even do that. They didn't even eat what they killed.
We just left him for crow food.
Yep, crow fodder. That's all they are. Okay, basically you all head back. They kind of go inside the house. Once they're in there, they're kind of checking to make sure that they are all dead, but it's clear and obvious that they are. No one could possibly have survived. Elmira turns to Kia and says, "Tonight we bury these farmers. Tomorrow we're going orc hunting. They're going to pay, every last one of them." And she's like still like fuming, angry and mad and aggressive. She says, "We're not going back to the camp. I'm sure those others knew exactly what they were doing. To hell with them. We're staying here. And if they come back here looking for their leader, I'll fry them too, goddammit." And it's still like, you don't like this at all. It's like all these emotions flying around. It's all scary stuff. Lots of rage and anger and terror. But your two legs and Elmira, they basically go outside and taking some of the farm implements, start digging a big hole.
I'm going to start digging with them.
Okay, you're.
I think they're just going to be taking
floor.
a big poop, I guess. I guess they're finally doing it the way I do it.
Right.
Sure, I'll
they
help you
finally
out.
learned it's a lot cleaner to bury that stuff instead of just doing it.
But I'm feeling
Two
pretty
legs is so
somber right now,
disgusting.
honestly.
Okie dokie. So, they continue to do that for a good while. Then they drag the bodies and drop them in the pit. At this point, Elmira goes and takes all of the bedding, all the blankets, all the rugs, anything that was remotely flammable. She breaks up crates. Kia's doing the same, and they're making like a huge big pile on top of the dead bodies.
All right, and I'm. Wait, the dead body's already in the hole.
Yeah. They basically
Okay,
dug like
never
a
mind.
shallow grave, put the bodies in it, and then they've piled anything flammable on top of them.
Okay, good.
And then basically she goes inside and sets fire to them. or goes outside and they set fire to him. They basically just create a huge funeral pyre. It was way too much work for these two girls to bury the 4 bodies, and quite honestly, they didn't have the time or the inclination. So they just quietly and solemnly set fire to the bodies, and they kind of just stand there and watch them burn. And
the glowing heat.
Lots and lots of heat, and you can sense a whole bunch of kind of remorse and sadness now. The rage is kind of like temporarily dispersed, and now they're just feeling like really, really bad for the family that just got killed.
Well, I'm going to do what I do best.
Incredibly bad. Like, you've never felt her feel this way. It's almost heartbreaking to feel how bad she feels.
Yeah.
It's like she's overwhelmed with guilt.
What I do best, and I'm going to go cuddle her.
Okay, so you're going into comfort mode.
Yeah.
Okay, she kind of picks you up.
My poor 2-leg.
Picks you up and pulls you toward cheek, and she's holding you, and you can kind of feel the tears coming from her face are like making your paw and your fur and your paws wet.
Yeah.
And she's like, I mean, as I said, you've never felt her feel this way. She's so overdone with remorse. It's like she's blaming herself completely for this. It's
now
horrible.
I will sing the song of my people in honor of her.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow. Alright.
Okie dokie. Right. I'm going to take a very quick break. We will be back. And Kia Liana will keep you... Cal will keep you company.
We'll say Jane will keep you company.
It'll probably be Jane Ivana.
Cool.
Because she'll actually probably make more sense than Cal will. You'll actually be able to talk to her. So, okay, so yeah, Kia and Elmira watch the bodies burn, and then they go back inside and rest. Elmira saying to Kia, "Get a good night's sleep, Kia. I know you haven't managed to master your powers much yet, but we're going to need everything we've got to deal with these orcs tomorrow. Every one of them is going to fry, or I'll die trying." And you can kind of sense that anger and rage is starting to build back up again. It's like their moment of compassion is past, and now they're in pissed off mode once more.
Cal's gonna stay up for just a little bit, maybe an hour or so. Just kind of thinking how he can help. He senses that they're gonna go after the greenskins tomorrow because they were about to, but then they didn't. Right. So he's thinking if he knows anything about the greenskins' weaknesses, if he can do anything.
Well, now they're asleep, you know a lot more about orcs than they. At least you know more about orcs than Kia does, for sure. And you know that they're violent, brutal things, but they're not very quick on their feet, and they're very clumsy.
Okay.
So
I have speed against them.
Yep. You're kind of sitting there realizing that it would be very hard for them to hit you with a weapon. Your biggest fear is that one of them might catch you unawares and pick you up, and if he does, he could hurl you against the rocks and squish you in no time.
Here's a question. This is kind of out of character. Does Cal know how to tie a rope with his teeth?
He cannot do that.
Okay.
No.
Can he, okay.
Yeah, he can't tie knots or anything like that. He can manipulate objects like knocking them around or pick them up, but he's not dexterous enough to actually use them in any real fashion.
Though. I'm not going to say which instance I'll do this in, but he could pull a rope out with his teeth. I know he could do that much. And kind of walk around with it around a tree, and then, dip it under and then pull it so it tightens around the tree, right?
Yes.
Alright.
He could do that.
That's all I need to know.
You could do that. Cal could do that, yeah.
Yes.
Under the circumstances, Cal could do that, because he's smarter than the average bear. So, yes, definitely.
Is my mic making a thumping sound?
Oh, no, just now you were finger tapping.
Oh, sorry.
That's what they're referring to.
I guess I was excited.
That's it. You were like, it's those nervous like.
Sorry, guys.
Alrighty. Okay, so what do you want to do? Anything else this evening?
Nope. I'm going to bed. I'm gonna curl up, do a couple circles around Kia's legs, and then lie down and sleep.
Alrighty. Okay, well, you all rest, and the bodies are gone because they burnt them. So I'm moving them out of here. Get rid of the stench. Okay. Well, they wake up fairly early the following morning. They scrabble around the farmhouse for anything edible, making themselves a basic breakfast. Kia finds some milk and puts it in a bowl and sits it in front of you. Yummy!
This is way better than any stuff any two legs drink.
Yeah, that funny stuff is just nasty. Who would want that?
I'm gonna take out my my half-eaten mouse and finish it off.
Alrighty. You finish your half-dead mouse. You lap up your milk. After a little while, they kind of gather up their belongings, and Elmira says, "Okay, these orcs shouldn't be hard to find. I saw how they were crushing through all those crops and undergrowths, and I've spent some time doing a little tracking. We'll find them, Kia. We'll find them." And they kind of head out the back door and across the field.
Into Kia's bag I go.
Alrighty. Okay, as you kind of head northwards through the crops and through the fields, it smells horrible. There's like a horrid, sickly, sweet smell in the air. Like, you know, it's the burning corpses, what's left of them. Like the fume, it's horrible to you. Absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
But they head through the tree line where you notice that where the orcs allegedly had where they were fighting. And once you get to the tree line, you notice that there's no dead orcs there at all. There's nobody dead there. The whole thing was clearly nothing but a complete ruse. There was no fight. Man. When you get there, Kia stops and she's like, "Well, this is where it all supposedly happened." Elmira looks at her and says, "We've been duped, Kia. They've used us." "Well, not anymore." And they continue. They kind of stomp through the tree line and head past the copse of trees to where you can see what appears to be a small pile of smoke rising up in the distance around some rocky crags.
All right, I'm gonna hop out of my two legs bag and cut away from them, but just circling around to be on the other side of the smoke.
Alrighty. Well, the smoke is like a long way in the distance.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll probably go with them for a little while, and once we're closer, I'll probably loop around.
Okay. Well, you can continue. They kind of continue walking. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to get to the edge of the crags. Once they get there, they start getting a little bit more quiet in the way they're moving. Start getting a little stealthier.
That's my cue.
As they start approaching quietly towards the rocky crags, getting closer and closer to where the huge pile of rocks are. Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to, are you going ahead, or?
Yeah, I want to kind of check out their camp before they get there to see if there's anything I can mess with.
Okay.
In order to help them.
Alrighty. Move this here. Okay, as you get closer to the campfire, you notice that there's like a large opening in some of the rocks, and there's this huge lump of orcs. This like horde of orcs are all crouched around the campfire. Like, they're wearing farmers' clothes, they're laughing, they're giggling, they're like drinking and eating out of the pots and pans that they stole from the farm, and just generally having a merry old time. There's no trees or anything around. There's just like large rocks and some undergrowth and stuff like that, but nothing really that you could tie a rope to.
Okay. Let's see. So there's pots and pans sitting around.
There's a few, yeah.
Okay. Let me see. And they're all orcs. There's no humans.
At the very back, right here, is that one orc that was kind of like a little human-looking, wearing the green cloak.
Do any of them have?
These are orcs.
Do any of them have weapons that they're not holding, that are just sitting, like they put them down?
Most of them are. Yeah, the weapons they're either just like resting in their lap or sitting down beside them. They're not really like, they're not clutching them, looking like. I know what the icons look like, but.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Would there be any way, while one of them isn't looking, that I can just slowly take one of their weapons very slowly and drag it away without them noticing?
You can try. I mean, there's a lot of orcs here.
What about that one that's almost kind of by itself all the way to the right?
That guy, he's sitting. I mean, he's got like a shield laying next to him and an axe. Both of them look probably too big for you to move.
Okay. Can I move swords?
No. Especially not orc swords. They're more like huge, big falchions. They're almost two-handed. Daggers, maybe.
Jeez. Okay. I was thinking, what can I do here? Do any of them just have daggers?
Any of them that do have daggers also have something else. Bigger and more nasty and sharp.
Okay. And there's the fire. Is the fire going right now?
Yes.
I see there's smoke.
Yes. Yeah, the fire's going and there's a lot of smoke.
Okay. Are there any clothes that are just lying around not being touched? Like the farmer's old stuff?
There's a few old blankets and things like that. Probably the blankets that they use to make like makeshift bags to carry all their loot in.
Okay, well, there's one idea. So I'm not going to do anything yet because they're all going to see me if I go in there. So I think I'm going to wait around for them to notice Kia and Elmira, my two legs, and then I'll make my move.
Okay. Well, Kia and Elmira initially were kind of creeping up. You've kind of noticed they've gotten close, and you kind of see or sense them behind you, kind of peering out a bunch between a kind of a small little crop of rocks and a bush.
Okay.
Like they're looking and observing.
I'm gonna wait.
Okay, so you're just kind of sitting here, perched in the corner, in some undergrowth. Okay, all of a sudden, completely unexpected, Elmira lets out a loud screech and comes charging, just crashing through the undergrowth, like yelling at the top of her voice, screaming bloody murder. The orcs immediately get up and grab at their weapons. As they do so, she charges into the clearing. Suddenly, another blast of lightning comes out of nowhere, and the first orc here just like gets incinerated. She just blows him out of it, like blows him to pieces.
Impressive.
Kia kind of is like running up behind her, kind of looking all bewildered and like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I was not ready for this, oh my god.
Alright, so where are the orcs looking? I'm guessing.
Well, they're all looking now very much directly at the charging, crazy Elmira, sorceress of psychoticness.
Okay.
As she does so, these two that are coming in this direction, charging down, they're kind of coming towards Kia. Kia suddenly lets out a blast of magic that comes from her fingertips. It's nowhere near as big or as impressive, but it shoots forward and hits this orc right here. and he kind of winces in pain. It's like a
Okay.
little ball of psst. It's like baby magic.
Can you give me control of Cal here?
Oh, do you not have him?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second.
It's okay. I'm thinking Cal is going to go north a little bit towards that rock. Trying to sneak around, since all the orcs are probably headed towards those two.
Oh, 1 second. And thank you for that donation, dude. We'll get to that in the next
Oh.
break. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so do you have him now?
Yes.
Okay.
So Cal's
where's
gonna
Cal going?
sneak around here while
Okay.
everybody else is headed towards them, I think.
Alrighty.
And where are the blankets?
The blankets are kind of here by this rock.
Perfect. And is that orc near the fire moving at all?
All these orcs are moving. They're all charging towards Elmira and Kieliana. The only one that's not this one here. He's kind of standing. You notice he's kind of he's trying to climb up on this rock here to get, because he's got a bow and arrow. The half orc, the leader,
Wow.
he's still staying right here, and he's yelling and barking orders like kill him, kill him.
Okay. Alright,
Okay,
so
what's Cal gonna do? What are you doing?
Cal's gonna grab a blanket
Okay.
and drag it over to the fire as fast as he can
Alrighty.
till it's in the fire.
Okay, so you're basically throwing a blanket in the fire to make a whole bunch of smoke and stuff like that. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Right, as these orcs charge towards Elmira, suddenly a huge blast of fire comes out of both of her hands, like a huge
Nice.
outreach.
Oh, I want to be her.
And these two orcs are incinerated and killed on the spot.
Oh my gosh.
Kia
Freaking
lets out
yes.
another blast of her magic, which hits this orc and kills him. Oh, another
Nice.
donation. Thank you, dude.
Ooh.
So it looks like it looks like that Kia and Elmira are definitely winning.
Okay.
Like, Elmira is a terrifying sight to behold, pissed off, apparently. But, you also know that she has got so much more magic inside of her than Kieliana has. She's like some kind of, she's like a hardened sorceress. She's the one that's been teaching Kia how to do everything that Kia does. Showing
Yeah.
her how to harness her magic.
That's awesome. So what's happening with the blanket?
Okay, basically over here, there's a lot of smoke started to come up. And this area, kind of in and around the fire itself, is kind of getting obscured. There's like
Okay.
smoke. Like this area here is all kind of smoke filled now. So basically you're almost invisible at this point. No one can really see you and the good thing is you're so low to the ground, the smoke is kind of
Right.
rising above you, so you're not being affected by it.
Right. Okay, and I'm grabbing another blanket and doing the same thing. Hopefully I'm trying to catch this one on fire.
Okay. Well, this one's burning too. It's just that the blankets
Okay.
themselves are,
Yeah.
they're the material that they're made of. They're burning, but they
good,
give off a
good,
lot
good.
of smoke.
Good, so I'm going to grab one of the blankets that's on fire and I'm going to drag it this way. So
Thanks
hopefully
for
there's
following.
a smoke trail and kind of a fire trail
Okay.
that should distract and blind a lot of them, maybe.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of trying to create a smoke trail in this direction and drag it with you.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Right. Well, the orcs are charging forward. A couple of them are like slashing wildly at Elmira. And another donation. Darn, that's 3.
Oh, guys.
Slashing wildly at Elmira. One of them catches her on the arm and she lets out a cry of pain. But she continues to, duck and dive and do everything she can to not get killed at this point.
Okay.
Okay, the smoke trail is now kind of
What's happening to my 2-leg?
extending here. Okay, Kia, she looks like she's getting ready to kind of fend this one off. She's standing there. She's got her quarterstaff in her hand. as this orc is like charging towards her. She's almost like shaking with fear because she's like never actually been in like real combat before. But she's spent of her, I mean, she's used the magic that she could to kill the other orc.
I'm looking between Elmira and Kia, my two-leg and this very nice two-leg here. Like, which one should I help distract? Because they're all kind of slashing at her, and they're coming towards my two-leg.
Okay.
So I decide to go with my two-leg and run right through where they are with the blanket, and just leave the blanket there and then run away.
Okay, so you're kind of just dragging your smoke trail right through it. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, the orc kind of runs straight over to where Kia is, raises his big, nasty cleaver down, and tries to chop your two legs in half. At the last minute, she manages to get her quarterstaff up out the way, but it almost knocks her flying with the sheer force of the blow. You're like really worried because you can tell how scared she is, and it looks like this orc is going to chop her to pieces. Okay, you hear another loud yelp as another blast of flames comes out of nowhere from the fingertips of Elmira, as two of these orcs are completely incinerated, and the last one goes like running in this direction on fire, screaming like Okay, at that point you notice that this nasty little orc up here has got his bow ready. He's like pulled back and he fires an arrow.
Ooh.
And he fires it towards Kia Liana and it misses.
Alright, I'm jumping up on the rock.
Okay. He's kind of barely perched. It's like you notice he's got, it's the way the boulder is. He's kind of very he's got his one foot is kind of slightly raised up than the other.
Okay.
As he's kind of almost like in a Captain Morgan's pose, you know, with his bow.
And I'm going to jump on the rock and try to claw at his eye.
Okay, so you're going to like dive at his face?
Yeah,
okay,
hopefully blinding him.
Roll.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You go flying up, basically grabbing hold of his pants leg briefly to get you some traction, and jump up and start clawing at his eyes. Thanks for the follow. Okay, he lets out a scream of agony as he drops the bow, as both of his hands instantly kind of come up. He's trying to grab hold of you. Make a dexterity check to see if you're quick enough to leap off of him before he grabs you.
Please, 12. Is that enough?
Okay.
Please be.
You leap, and as you do so, you kind of just feel his fingertips grab and wrapping around your tail as you basically leap over off the rock. It was like so close, he almost got you by the tail.
Is he
fortunately,
blinded?
His eye, I mean, where his eye is, one of his eyes is seriously clawed, and there's blood pouring from coming from his cheek. The good news is he dropped the bow and arrow, and the bow and arrow slid off the rock and has landed on the floor.
Okay, cool. Can I pull at the bow and arrow? Am I that strong yet?
You can the bow and arrow, or either the arrow or the bow, you can probably pull at. Yes.
All right. I'm just going to drag the bow away from the rock this way, just so he can not know where it is. And I'm gonna like hide it. I don't know if there's any kind of foliage around there, but just hide it so we can't find it.
Okay. Right, so you're doing that. Basically, while you're doing that, Kia is over here still fighting the orc. The half-orc guy has now charged through the smoke and is running straight at Elmira.
Straight through the smoke, like he doesn't even care?
Yeah, he knows where she's coming, or where she is. He's just like charged straight through it, yelling a blood-curdling war cry.
I run towards. I probably only make it around here, but I run towards Elmira to attempt to warn her.
As you kind of run round here, where you can see Kia and her orc, the orc brings his falchion down and he hacks Kia right in the thigh, and you notice that she screams in pain and there's blood dripping from her leg. It doesn't look good. Her quarterstaff, and thank you for the donation. drops to the floor, and this orc is like poised right over top of her. It looks like a complete. It's just like it was before when you saw Fabian about to kill Elmira earlier. So now you have a choice: do you help Kier, or are you going to help Elmira?
My two-leg is mine, and I need to protect her. Unfortunately.
Okay, then what do you as a mere kitty cat want to do to stop this orc from hacking Kieliana in half?
I'm going to jump and bite at his hand that's holding the sword.
Okay. You hear another blast of lightning come from Elmira as she blasts into the half-orc. You hear him yell in pain, like, ah! Okay, make an attack roll.
Okay.
As you attempt to claw and bite at the orc's hand.
Oh no!
Okay,
No!
You jump up and try to bite at him, but as he brings the arm down, it's the force of the blow is so strong it just kind of swats you aside, and you hit the floor rather hard. Fortunately for you, you always land on your feet. So.
And I got 9 lives. Take that, sucker.
Right. As he's about to hit the floor, suddenly you notice that the sword flies out of his hand and kind of goes zooming off into the distance, like as if it was like really slick, or he had no grip on it whatsoever. And you realize at the last minute that Kieliana must have used her grease spell.
Thank goodness.
So now the orc is now just holding his shield, and Kia at this point scrabbles for her quarterstaff.
Can I help push it towards her?
By the time you get to it, she's already going to have grabbed it.
Okay, that's fine then. Oh jeez. Is the orc still hot on her trail here?
I mean, the orc is still, yeah. I mean, she's at this point, he's now only holding his shield, and she's just managed to get her hand back on the.
I gotta go for it again. I'm gonna go for his crotch area. I got some help from the chat there. I'm going for his balls. Balls deep. Let's do it. And try to claw at it or do anything.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
Okay.
$11. Okay, as you scramble up his leg, clawing wildly, he doesn't seem to be particularly fazed by the fact that you're there. You hear a loud scream coming from your left, as you kind of look over the corner of your eye just in time to see the orc with his broadsword just come slashing down, and he's just hit Elmira right across the shoulder, and there's blood everywhere. She's let out a huge scream as she falls to the ground.
Okay. I can't go there yet, because Kia. What's happening?
Okay, this orc up on the rock, seizing an opportunity. He's left his bow and arrow. He hasn't bothered with it. But basically pulling out his dagger from his sheath, he jumps down and is like running down as if he's about to stab and finish off Elmira. As he does so, as a kind of like out of her hand, she lets out one of her magic missiles and hits him, blowing him kind of 2 feet straight off of his feet, and he lands like 2 feet backwards, impacting up against the side of the rock, and then he falls and collapses on the floor. However, as he does so, the half-orc with his broadsword raised right above brings the broadsword straight down and impales her to the floor. He like sticks it straight through Elmira's chest as blood comes spewing out of her mouth.
Oh my gosh. Cal is in shock, and for a second, with not thinking about Two Legs, he's kind of just staring blankly towards Elmira, not really doing much.
Yep, he just basically, just in time to see Elmira get skewered. And she's like spitting blood. Okay, as he's doing so, you're just in time. Kieliana basically brings her quarterstaff up right between the orc's legs and like hits him right between the legs, and you kind of see this cross-eyed look on his face.
Good two-leg, right where I was trying to get him.
It's like, ah! And then she kind of scrabbles out from underneath him. As he does so, the other orc, the half-orc, has kind of noticed that she's here now, finally, and he suddenly starts coming in her direction. Helgraf, thanks for the follow.
Oh my gosh, I'm hurrying to Kia, meowing. Like,
okay. Kia is seriously wounded. I mean, she's bleeding profusely. She looks in utter distress and terror as she sees Elmira laying dead on the floor. Her friend, her mentor of years, the person that she's looked up to, has just been killed by this half-orc bastard. As he comes towards her, it's almost like for a second it looks like she's stupidly going to stay and try to fight, but then she realizes
I grab
there's
at her
nothing that
close
she could
with my
possibly
teeth,
do, as she
tugging.
kind of starts scrabbling off as fast as she possibly can. The orc is chasing after her, though. It's the half-orc can easily catch her if he means to.
Okay.
What do you want to do? So Kia is basically limping along trying to escape, and the half-orc is coming up fast behind her. Okay, she kind of makes her way. She manages to stumble through some bushes and out the other side, and the half-orc is coming straight, stomping all menacingly towards her, holding his broadsword, screaming bloody murder.
I would just since I'm way faster than this orc, I just want to run back and forth between the orc and Kia, dashing in between them to kind of get in the way of his feet or possibly just distract his eyes. Just any kind of distraction.
Okay, make a grapple check. I mean, you're not actually grappling him, but in theory you're trying to trip him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and make a grapple check.
Okie dokie. I don't see.
No, it'll be a normal attack for you.
Oh, okay.
D20 minus 2.
Don't fail me, dice. Don't fail me. Yes.
16. Okay. You, as the orc's kind of you stomping through, especially as he's going through the bushes, you seize your opportunity and dive between his legs, just kind of getting in the way. I mean, you don't weigh much, and there's not a whole lot to you, but with the added complication of the undergrowth and stuff like that, he actually stumbles and falls flat on his face, crashing down into the bushes themselves, letting out a loud yell.
And he's on his face, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, this gives Kia valuable time to escape, as he's got to get back to his feet.
Can I scratch his face? Can I scratch his face once and then run away?
You certainly can try. Make an attack roll. Vile.
I want to leave a scar. Yes!
Look at it, ladies and gentlemen.
Natural 20!
Leave that scar.
Go Cal. Roll again. You may crit.
Oh. No, I don't know.
12. Well, he is prone, so yes, it's a crit. So Cal actually does.
Natural 20.
There it is. Perfect timing. 2 points of damage to the orc's face, in particular, called shot to his eye. Okay, he lets out a violent, painful scream as he rolls around, clutching his face. With such a blow, I mean, the physical damage isn't that much, but you felt pretty sure you felt something squishy at the end of your paw when you did it.
So did I scratch against his eye? Kind of scar there?
Basically, he's got a scratch mark across his eye, but it got the eye as well.
Oh, yes.
So he's you can see him, he's ah! I'll kill you! Ah! You're a cursed cat! But he's so much in pain and scrabbling around, he can barely see what he's doing. Kia does manage to make her escape. You felt sure if it hadn't have been for your heroics there that Kia would have never made it out of there alive.
Obviously, for sure.
So, obviously, you saved Kia's life.
As I do often.
Of all the times to roll a natural 20.
Seriously, that's the best. Now there's a mark on his face. my two-leg will
That's it.
know.
He's
when
permanently
he sees
scarred.
him.
He's permanently
Yeah.
scarred by Cal. Okay, Kia manages to scrabble down through the rocky crags and make her way back to the... I mean, initially it looks like she's going back to the farmhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously there's the caravan there where a lot of your stuff belongs, but you know that all the other mercenaries are there. And if they are, in fact, obviously they were in on all of this, that's not a good place for Kia to be.
Right. So are we on our own now?
So at this point, Elmira is dead. The half-orc is back there, so there's no point going back to Elmira. The mercenaries are in on it, and you killed their... And Elmira and Kieliana killed their leader, Fabian.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously they're not going back there. So yeah, now it's really just... you're kind of lost now, and so is Kieliana. It's like, where do you go? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Gorbad, the Dungeon Master on How Reroll. If you'd like to follow my personal channel, it's twitch.tv/Gorbad, or on my other social media, @Gorbad for Twitter, or @GorbadTV for YouTube.
Hi guys, I'm Bane. You want to hang out with me some more? You can find me on twitch.tv/Bane1271, Twitter @Bane1271, or Facebook and YouTube under Bane Blackstar. See you guys soon.
Hello, my name is Shagget, and I play Radovan Rainier, a cleric on How Reroll. You can follow me on www.twitch.tv/Shagget.
Hey, I'm Jane. You can follow me on my personal channel at twitch.tv/JaneIvana, or if you'd like on my Twitter @JaneOnTwitch with a 0, not an O. Peace.